Man, getting out of the house. I mean, getting out of the house is probably a must. I'm gonna die on this hill too, because I know I said before maybe you shouldn't, right? Maybe you shouldn't. But the more I meet young men, the more I'm convinced that the longer you stay at home, for every month you stay at home, I think you become 1% more gay. So, if 12 months go by after 18, I mean, you're 12% gay. And then for every 2 years, it's pretty much 25%. By the time you're 26, you're a full blown homo. Really, really, though, I mean, and that makes me 12%. So, and after 26, I mean, dude, your soul probably starts to transition a bit. 1% every month. Because let's be real. Let's be real, man. The uninitiated man is a man that is too concerned with habits and routines. Like, seriously, that's what I noticed of having a routine in their own life. When you really, what else is there these days than moving out of your freaking parents' house? You get what I'm saying? Like, what else is there, man? Moving out of your parents' house and just scrounging, just freaking scrounging. Trying to, have you ever had to pay rent? When you have to pay rent, you don't give a fuck about anything else. You don't care if you got your 10,000 steps. You don't care if your head is clear. You don't care if what your no fap street. Dude, you don't care about nothing. That rent is due. Or you're gonna get booted. When you are forced, when you had a car and maybe you don't have a car, dude, your mind starts working. All right, how am I gonna do this? I gotta make a deal. Okay, let me find it. I've done this, man. Find a cheap freaking car, $800, wheels falling off. Not sure if you can make it to the gym. Not sure if you can make it anywhere. Still picking up the girl though. Still making it happen. It teaches you a level of confidence that can only come. You can only get this confidence to scrounge, to know that you're capable of scrounging, to look at yourself as a weapon. That's what it really is. That's what I've learned. You stop seeing yourself as just like something that life batters and bruises, and really like this thing that can make things happen, that it can push buttons, it can make energy move, it can perform the alchemical process of turning crude metals into freaking gold, turning shit into sugar. I remember I read 50 Cent's book. It was like, it wasn't the 50th law, it was whatever, some hustler's thing, and I always kind of liked 50's story because he came from the trenches. And that was the main thing in his book is like, I have to turn shit into sugar. And so you just, it changes you fundamentally as a man. It makes you a bit retarded, but in the smartest sort of way, a smart retardation. It makes you not complain about the prices of eggs, the price of gas. You don't give a damn what the weather looks like. Like, okay, it's gonna, like, don't even check the weather. F the weather. What's the weather gonna do to me? I'm gonna still have to do it. Oh, the gas is expensive. Okay, I still gotta get somewhere. Like, there's nothing you learn that is going to be that much. Like, it's a challenge, but it won't defeat you. You become the final boss. But when you live at home with your parents, you're just like a Dark Souls character, Skyrim, naked, butt naked, and afraid. You try to, like, you have your routine. You gotta be this. It's like all bullshit because you never actually had a real initiation, and you never really got to find and dig deep into who you are, those darker sides of you. There's been dark times in my life where I've just had to freaking scrounge, and I think it's in these times that you realize inside of you is not a good boy. Like, inside of you is not your mama's ideal of you. Inside of you is not society's ideal of you when you're just trying to put ramen noodles on the table with beef and eggs mixed in. Like, there is a rabies infested dog inside of you that that you get to incorporate. People call this the shadow. People call this, the darker, the black horse. Really, it's the whole part of you as a man, which a lot of you guys, you young guys, suppress because you are in a state of limbo. You are playing it safe. You're looking to be perfect. You're not looking to be who you are. You're looking for like only to have success. But that's just never how it is. Life will always, the best life will always be a sort of tug of war with the lower parts of you, or with the parts of you that maybe society says, no, get rid of that, man. Get rid of that. Get that out of you. No, dude. It's like, it's a very feminized state of being. And what I say, being a man is about taking risk. Being a man is about just figuring the shit out as it goes. Like it says in the Bible, it says, don't worry about tomorrow. Tomorrow will take care of itself. Real faith is, plopping out that foot in front of the other one, seeing where that lands you. Sometimes you step in shit. Sometimes you slip in shit. But within that shit, you're able, with the confidence that comes from living and with scrounging and with making connections, with meeting women, all of that gives you a sort of deep confidence that cannot be shaken by any person or anything. And it's all because of living. It's really because of living. Like nothing can knock you off center. And that's why I say you got to move out. You got to move out before I think you're ready. You really have to, because listen, it's either going to take a catastrophe to happen to you, like your house gets wiped out in a fire in California, or your parents die, which is probably not going to happen to many of you until you're later in life, the silver years, So for many of you, it's going to take just like, fuck it, I'm going to go and find like a shitty little apartment. Maybe you live with a roommate for 6 months to a year. I don't recommend living with a roommate for too long because it's still a safety net, you know what I mean? But going out there, finding a cheap, shitty apartment, throwing down a simple mattress, like the most thin mattress you can possibly think of, what they probably put out for the homeless on those cold nights, Hey, come get a little rest. Sleep on that fucking mattress, man. You don't need to exercise gratitude. You'll be grateful that you just had a roof over your head. And then have a chair in the, wherever. Have a chair and a freaking mattress. That's all you need. I don't get why people think they need to have like a complete setup. You're not a baller at this point. This is your launch pad, man. You want to go downward so that you can see what you're about, and then so all the opportunities are there, clear in front of your eyes. Like every step along that path at the bottom, you start to see the light, right? When you've been walking in a cave for long enough, what do? You start to pray for the light. And so as soon as you see a little glimpse of light, man, you savor that. You take in that fresh air. You take in those breathing moments, and anything, you just seize it. But you don't see that, man. You don't see it when you're out in fresh air all the time, and you got the servants. You're like Buddha in the palace. There's no need. It's only till you leave the palace. But see, this is all, for a lot of you guys, this is all just like, oh, it sounds good, it's nice, but you won't actually do anything about it. And that's why I get it. We're different. You won't have to, and that's fine. But this is all I know. So, right? So this is all I know. So if someone comes to me and is looking for help, and then I look at their life and they're still living with their parents, they haven't taken any risk, they're following the sort of path that society has laid out for them, and then they're filled with anxiety and fear and talking to girls, it's like, dude, you have not earned the right to be a different type of way. Like, of course you're afraid. Of course you're like a deer in the headlights when you talk to a girl. Of course you're gonna have bad relationships, because if you think about it, part of relationships is like, girls are very good at sniffing out if a man has self-doubt. They're very good at it, and I believe it's just because they are weaker. They're meant to seek security. They're meant to seek men that are secure. So you can be like a complete degen, but the complete degen is more confident than some of these self-improving archetypes. These guys that have to get everything right, gotta hit the 10K steps, gotta count the calories, have to have the six pack, have to be 6.5% body fat, have to be a certain height. Dude, some of these DJs that just like to have fun and they got that weed, man, they're confident in their ability to get the weed and provide a good time. Those guys ain't worried. Maybe they got, I remember I met this guy, man, he had his own little place. He was like, in my eyes, he was a complete DJ. But he knew himself better than most people know themselves. He was, baby, come over. I got the bag of mushrooms, the weed, the fun. He didn't give a fuck, man. He was living in no one else's standards. He was ignorant. Ignorance was bliss for him. But you know what? Hey, he had no problem with the girls. He didn't have this self-doubt and this weird anxiety that plagues a lot of these young guys. He was just making shit happen. Oh yeah, rents, dude, just freaking light up a cigarette, light up a blunt, whatever. Okay, I'll figure it out. It's like, damn. A lot, but everyone wants to criticize that guy. But a lot of the criticism comes because a lot of us are scared. A lot of us are really scared. There's this guy in our group. He is in England right now. And he, he's got a little money saved. He's got a little money. And he was saying to us, yeah, I think I'm going to go. Part of me wants to just go and move to Australia and surf. And a lot of us heard this and we're like, are you sure, bro? Because you're kind of like an apprentice. You're kind of on this trajectory. And as soon as I started thinking about it, a lot of us woke up when we heard trajectory. We're like, wait a second. Is this a trajectory of your choosing? Is this something you really want to freaking do? And just like stay in the UK and go and become this and this service, like work under this and that. You might live comfortably, but is this really what you want to do? And so we had to take a step back, but there was people that also criticized him, like, bro, you're fucking up. And we kind of got into it. Like, wait a second, man, we're the high thumos group. So part of the philosophy here is to make the thumos come alive. Because a man without thumos, what does that lead you to? It's an early grave. That's an early death. That quote where most men they die at 25, 23, I think it is these days, maybe even less, but they don't get buried until they're 80. And so if thumos is real, if you really want to live with thumos, if that is truly, if it's meaningful to feel alive and to be alive, that means that you must be okay breaking out of a limbo state. And so we were like, you know what, man? F it. You got some money? Make the move. Plan the move to us. What's going to happen? Is this guy going to just lay down and die? And so it's easy to criticize someone else that's taking the risk that you can't even place that ideal of yourself in. Because then if you can criticize him, you could call that guy an idiot. That means you never have to do it yourself. And a lot of us can't see ourselves taking massive ball scooping, let the chips fall where they may risk. We're just scared to death of that. I'm telling you. And that is really the fight. That's the fight for me too, because again, you do get a little modicum of success. You get a little success and that's what I'm saying. The perfect life is to be like the Buddha that has access to the kingdom, but also to the streets and all the just the street market, all of the shit and all of the filth in there. You got to be able to dip in and out without hating one or the other. You got to be, you can't criticize the guys that are okay stepping out into the streets, because a lot of us are too comfortable. Again, the women, your women problems will go away once you've been at the bottom and you've dealt with women and you've had a woman like you when you've had nothing, and you've used your voice and you've used your personality, and your personality comes to life when you're at the bottom. That's when it fully gets to develop, because humor is also looking at the dark parts of human nature. Humor, it's going within. It's understanding people, and you understand people by understanding yourself when you're at your lowest. And all of the perverse weirdness, all the oddities, everything, like you start to get a better grasp and understanding of humans and human nature. And so now your personality starts to just take on new elements, like you're funnier, you're more courageous. There's the doubt leaves you. You put food on the table for yourself. You say thank you God. Wow, we made this, and you recuperate, you relax, you go out there again, and you're looking, you're hungry, and you're the hunter. You're not worried about what's going to happen a week from now. There's no need to. There's no need to always be worried about everything and try to micromanage everything. That's for the birds, man. That's for not the birds. I mean, that's for freaking nerds, because the birds are just flying around. Do you think they worry about when they're going to eat their next meal? No, man. They're just all right. Time to hunt. Like there's got to be an element to just making it happen, But first off, if you want to be that hunter, you got to get out into the wild, and a lot of us don't even have access to that. Metaphorically, a wild that we willingly enter, where we don't have much. All we have is our voice, our minds, and our whatever strengths, our oddities, our dark parts of us, the filth. We incorporate all of that, and we put that into living, and we put that into making things happen. But that's the wild, and you got to enter the wild. And the wild is leaving your parents' house, being forced into different situations that you could have never dreamt up while you're sitting at your freaking mama's house and she's washing your clothes. And a lot of people say, oh, it's so good to get away from the people that are keeping you back. It's like, don't you fucking think your parents want you out of the house by a certain age? Yeah, dude. Like, they're sick of you, They don't actually want you there. They want you to leave. Like, 18 years you've been there, maybe longer for life. They don't want you there either. You're a drain on them and their expenses. They're having their own hard times. Like, yeah, get the fuck out, man. It's like your relationship with your parents will be just astronomically better when you're out of the house. Astronomically better. And it's you got to stop resenting your parents if you're living at their house. Let them come live with you once you make it. Then see how you feel towards them. It's like, what? Yeah, they took care of you. They had you. But at a certain time, it's like, okay, are you handicapped? Are you not able to go and figure shit out just like your dad did? Are you really that afraid of women? Your dad met your mom. You can't do this. Go make shit happen with people. Like, all of this fear and all the panic attacks you have at night is because you're not being tested. So if all you have to do is ruminate on bullshit, there's no test, there's no initiation. That's what it is. Like, an initiation means that a part of you dies. Like you shed a skin, you shed something that must go. But you're trying to advance and be this perfect person with old dead skin. It doesn't work. It just doesn't. It doesn't make sense. That's not a formula. That's not ever been a formula in the history of mankind. And again, back to the women, just to nail this point home, your relationship with women will forever change. Women can sniff it out if you doubt yourself. All of the shit tests you face is just to see if you doubt yourself. It's literally just to see if you are who you say you are. Because that shit can't fly. She could find someone better. It doesn't matter about your looks too, dude. That's what, guys, it doesn't fucking matter about your looks. A lot of these beautiful women will end up with guys that are just secure. Because that's how it is. They want the security. But the good news is you can be a handsome, broke dude with not a whole lot of prospects at the moment, but if you have heart and you have the self-belief and the autonomy, and you emanate that from your very being, people can sense that. And that's when you begin to get, as it says in the Bible, the last shall be first and the first shall be last. Because the bottom, the lower tier, man, the limbo, it's like the people there have that belief. They have, when you truly have faith and you have that confidence that comes from living, you get rewarded for it. Because there's something too about people that are successful, they more likely to want to be around people that are not bitchy and moany and complaining. That's why I say, like, you learn very quickly you don't get to bitch or moan. There's no complaining. There's no doubting yourself. There's no war at yourself. You accept who you are and where you're going and the gifts you have and the dark parts of you. That's all it is, man. That's all it is. So I think a lot of you guys would do really well to finding out, leave the house behind, begin to scrounge. If you have to, find a roommate. I said the guys in the group, I literally said this to the guys in our group, the high thumos brother. I said, listen, if you're still at your parents' house, go get a roommate with someone in here. You guys talk to each other. We all talk to each other all the time. We become very good friends. We got a lot of trust. It's better to shack up with someone in here for 6 months to a year and then part ways, set yourself up to launch than to, shack up with some random that you hear, fapping late at night through the walls to hentai. It's like, shack up with someone in here. Use the resource that is the brotherhood. These men that are, we're it's the thing is we're all fighting. It's a fight to not accept limbo. Okay, it really is. And man, it's just like I don't really want to be around people that need to be perfect. I don't want to be around people that are like into self-improvement. That's not what it is, dude. We're men. That's just weird. That's weird energy, and it's just fake. That's what it really is, because you realize that at a certain point in your life that it's not about self-improvement. It's not about routine. It's about making shit happen out of nothing and out of just who you are. Okay, so find a way to initiate yourself to gain that clarity that only comes through suffering, that only comes through going downward, descending. Then you can ascend, then you can bounce back. But you need to first, go downward. So do whatever you want with that. I know a lot of you guys just will not. You'll go with the path that you're on, that your parents set up for you, that you'll always seek a security, and that's natural, because it actually takes immense courage to go against your own basic nature, which is to always seek pleasure and to avoid pain. It's way easier to have your Xbox and all your Funko Pops and all your bullshit in your house and your comfort than to really seek something different than that. So that's why I don't even know if you can do it. Like, I really don't. I don't even know if my old self could do it. I'm telling you, because it was kind of forced upon me from my parents' death. So this isn't for everyone. I get that. I'm not expecting everyone. We lost 200 freaking walkers recently. Like, over 200 freaking walkers, subscribers, because of the walking thing, which I was hinting at something deeper, which I truly stand upon that as, like, when you fall into routine, you're walking all the time, like, oh, I gotta walk, I gotta clear my head, dude, something's up. So again, it all goes back to the message right here. It's like, it's not for everyone. It's not for everyone, but I don't want to speak to everyone, because many are just going to be a part of the world. I want to talk to those people that want to be a bit, I want them to shake things up. I want them to see who they truly are. I want them to come into that fully, like, really embrace that. I don't want to be friends with the goody two shoes. I don't want to hang out. I don't want the people at the meetups to be, like, afraid to smoke a cigar with me. And they can't even smoke a cigar without hearing Andrew Huberman's voice and the host of others just whisper in their ear, dude, the cigar's not good for you. I don't want to be around those people, man. That's fucking boring. Okay? I don't want to be around these type of scared individuals. Low thumos. I want to create a brotherhood, high thumos men going after it, just fully confident in who they are, their capabilities, ready to handle whatever the life throws at them. All right? So, hey, that's it, man. Keep it high thumos. I wish you guys the best. See you soon. Let's have a good month coming up, right? What is the last month of March? Let's have a good April. Peace.